I'm Pastor Scott Griswold, welcoming you to Reach the World ASAP, produced by ASAP Ministries. One year, when we were living in Cambodia, it rained and rained and rained some more. Our missionary friends were way out in Kampong Cham province near the Mekong River, and we heard that the flooding was really bad, so we thought we'd go out to see if we could help. As we drove towards the city, the road almost disappeared into the water. Where there had been rice fields and little houses, it was just lakes on every side. People were camping on the road with their cows sleeping next to them. As we got near to our friend's home, we saw them paddling out in a little boat to get us. The water had risen so high, the entire first floor of the house was submerged. Nobody would be holding the church service down there for a while. We looked around, we saw snakes swimming through the water. I wondered what we'd do if a cobra or a viper decided it wanted a ride. Electric lines were hanging down really close to the water. It was dangerous. And then the boat docked at the upstairs porch, and we went in to find out what we could do to help. Turned out there wasn't much that they needed, but they enjoyed our company while they waited for the water to go down. So whenever we needed food or drinking water, we had to hop in the boat and paddle to the market. Couldn't go anywhere unless it was in a boat. Wouldn't that be fun to live in? Well, maybe for a couple of days. But how would it be if that was how you always lived? What if you were way out on the Amazon River somewhere where no road reached your home and there was no landing strip for airplanes nearby? That's the reality for thousands and thousands of people. How do those people get to hear the gospel? I remember when I was a boy, my grandpa Griswold was really excited to be giving money to purchase a boat called the Luzero. That Portuguese word meant light bearer, and it was the name of the new boat that would carry doctors and nurses and Bible teachers up and down the Amazon searching for people in need. How exciting. I don't know how much of that big boat my grandpa bought, but the sparkle in his eye planted a missionary seed in me. I never ended up working on a boat, but I'd like to tell you about 3 people and their boats or their dreams of boats that I met just last year in Southeast Asia. ASAP Ministries sponsors a Cambodian literacy teacher named Im Sarang to work alongside her husband, who's a church planter through the Global Mission Pioneer Program. They live on a boat. They hold church services on a boat. They teach children on a boat. Isn't that amazing? You see, there are a lot of Vietnamese immigrants who live in Cambodia. Many of them are in the country illegally. They have no right to buy, rent, or build anything on land. They're good fishermen, so they just fish and live in their boats. Even when the government forbids them from selling fish at the markets, they're still usually allowed to fish for their families. There are Cambodians out there joining them because, well, it's cheaper to build your house on the water. You don't have to buy land, just get some barrels and anything else that floats and cut down some bamboo and build your house. There you have it. Well, Im Sarang and her husband, Tut Som, wanted these people to know Jesus. So they found a group of about 1,000 families who tie up near each other, and they bought or they built a floating church and a house all in one. The children around there don't have any school in Vietnamese, so Sarang calls them together and teaches them to read and write in Khmer, the Cambodian language. She teaches them memory verses from the Bible, stories through the really pretty, colorful My Bible First lessons that ASAP helped create, and then some of those children come to church on Sabbath. Well, one day Sarang met a 14-year-old girl named Moon. She invited Moon to come to the literacy class, but she shook her head. No, my family is Buddhist. You teach about Jesus. And that was it. So Sarang prayed for her. A short time went by, and Moon and her mom came to her and said, "Can we come to class?" Sarang knew that this must be a direct answer to her prayer. And guess what? Now Moon is the first one waiting for church each Sabbath. She goes every week and learns the texts and the lessons. I think that's great. I am so thankful for Som and Sarang's dedication. Now, over in Myanmar, also known as Burma, I met 2 young men who are church planters way over on the east part of the country near Bangladesh. From the mission headquarters in Yangon, it takes Tan Tun 26 hours traveling by bus and boat to get to his mission field. He works among one of those many unreached people groups in Myanmar. This one is called the Meru. They're committed Buddhists. They also have a strong belief in spirits. Can you imagine working among them? His work is just starting. God gave him a wife whose father is the founder of the village. Most of the relatives are not believers yet. He needs our prayers. He also needs a boat. He said there's so much more he could do during the rainy season. It's the only way to get to the people, like when I paddled during the flood. All it takes is about $350 to buy a boat. Now that's a good investment. And finally, there's Mr. Aitun. He's so excited about his gospel ministry. Just recently, his new members cleared out a spot in the jungle. They cut down bamboo and hauled it to build a little church. It took them a whole year. But they did it all by themselves, so they didn't have to spend a single cent. That's the money in Myanmar. Aitun told me, I'm very proud of the reputation our church has in our village. People notice that we don't smoke or drink or eat unclean foods. When people get sick, they come to our members and ask for prayers. He told us about a man named Sam Wynn, who would often get drunk and start fights. He gave his parents an awful time. Aitun shared the gospel with Sam's parents, and they became church members. Together, they prayed for Sam. After 1 year, he stopped smoking and drinking. He became gentle and kind. He even apologized to his parents and started going to the little bamboo church to worship. In fact, he was baptized in April 2014. Now he works as a farmer and comes to evening worship. That's our amazing God. So Aitun is excited to serve Jesus way out there in the jungles of Chin State. He has about 70 members scattered in 5 different villages. And he told me it's pretty hard to visit them because there are no roads. If I had a boat, I could visit them regularly and bring them sometimes to worship all together. Wouldn't you say that's worth praying about? A boat, another boat for reaching people. It reminds me of a text in Hebrews 11, verse 7. By faith, Noah, being divinely warned of things not yet seen, moved with godly fear, prepared an ark for the saving of his household. I don't think you and I need to build a boat for that purpose, but maybe we could use our money to build some boats for those on the water. And maybe by being involved in sacrificing for missions, as a family, we will be building a lifestyle, a character that will help us stay afloat in the end-time crisis ahead. For sure, we will be providing a boat of salvation for the unreached. 96% of the Meru that Tantun is trying to reach are Buddhists. And not far away from them is another unreached tribe of about 100,000 people called the Inta. They are 98% Buddhist. And guess where many of them live? Right on Inle Lake, in floating houses. It looks like we could build a few more boats. So let's join Noah and his family. Let's join Sarang, Tantun, and Aitun. Let's reach the world ASAP.